Hi, everybody, and welcome to our new show. It's Awaken to Your Soul Path. I am your host, Barbara, and I am joined by your other wonderful host, Robyn, today. And we want to talk about all things that have to do with energy, spirituality, and awakening to your soul path. And today, you have the honor of joining us in our very first episode. Yay!
Oh, I'm so excited, Barbara. This is just, I think, exactly what we need.
Yes, I think so too. Well, we've been talking about it in the other groups that Robyn and are both a member of, and there are so many energies shifting and so many things going on, and so many people are feeling lost and confused and emotional, and sometimes even wondering, I thought I had overcome all of this, so why am I feeling like this again? And if you don't know that other people are going through something similar and why that is happening, it can be a very scary, very lonely, and maybe even possibly painful experience. And that's why we think it's good to talk about these things and what we are feeling, because we have noticed that there are a lot more people like us, right, Robyn, going through roughly the similar things.
It is. It's been, we all thought that 2022 was going to kind of bring us out of this funk. But it seems like what has happened is we've even had to go deeper into our inner journey, and we're having memories come up and emotions come up, and we're being triggered around things that we thought we had already cleared. And we have this amazing ability to, tap into the energy of the stars and the moon and the full moons and the eclipses and all of these things that are going on, and really get into what are these memories reminding me of? What is the message that I'm getting from these memories? And sometimes we go into this, I'm going to use the word kind of like victim mode, but it really isn't that. It's like, you're like, well, why am I seeing this again? I'm not this person anymore. I don't do these things anymore. I don't have these reactions anymore. So why is this memory here? Well, we always hold a little bit in our cellular memory. So this is a way for us to go, okay, I'm ready to let this go. I don't need this in my cellular memory anymore. I don't need this memory anymore. I'm willing to let it go. And then that gives us the opportunity to just, go, okay, I'm ready to let this go.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think that that is the case. I know for a fact that we store a lot of what is happening and has happened to us in our the subcutaneous layer just below our skin, and it's being triggered by memories, and it's being triggered by energies. And if we want to move towards this new reality that we are going towards, and if we want to step up and be the leaders that we are meant to be and that we are called to be, then we need to lead by example. And we can only lead by example if we've already gone through the shifts that are necessary to step into that new reality, into that new portal. And that comes along with letting go, letting go of everything that's no longer serving you and that's not beneficial to your growth or to your new role as leader, basically. And yes, that means that we are going through a form of growing pains that can be very painful in order to shift and let go so that we may rise.
Yeah, it's and there's a lot of people are talking about and are the money. The money is really weird. It seems for a lot of us, it's kind of like the money dried up. that there was this, it was almost like we had to take a break. It's like for those of us who are entrepreneurs, whether you're full-time or part-time and you're working with clients, it was so important for us to take a break, to allow these shifts, allow these, I'm going to call them upgrades. Some people call them downloads, but I like the word upgrade. Just like,
more positive.
yeah, it's more positive. So we're receiving these upgrades. We're receiving these awarenesses, these feelings, these emotions. And it was really important for us to go through this, because if we were busy, if we were doing other things, we wouldn't even have been able to acknowledge what we're going through. We wouldn't have been able to release those emotions or take a look at it, because we would have been too busy. We would have just stuck it on the shelf and said, I'll look at it later. And that's
Yes.
not what Spirit wanted us to do. Spirit's like, we want you to look at this. We want you to analyze it.
And at the same time, I think we're also being called to test our readiness. And that's why I think we are being tested in the form of where it's very easy to step into lack again, because you think, oh, no money is coming in, or not enough money is coming in. And oh my God, and you can go into the stressy response that you've probably done most of your life. And I know what I'm talking about because I've done it. So I'm not a stranger to it. But if you're truly ready, and if you truly believe that everything you want is already here, and that you are already that person, you just need to step out of your own way and allow it in, then there's nothing to worry about. So that's why I think it comes with no income coming in, to also test that part of your readiness, of your trust, of your surrender, because you are going to need it for the next part. And if you still haven't learned it, and again, expert at that part, then you're not advancing to the next level, so to say. You're staying where you are because there's still something you need to learn in order to advance to the next level. So yeah.
And there's also the part that it's also a reminder that we can't do it all ourselves. And so for me, I have been very stubborn in the fact that I didn't want to pay for somebody to teach me how to do social media. I thought, I can do this. I'll get it right. I can work with Spirit. We'll figure it out. And Spirit was like, Robyn, you don't have the skills and the knowledge to do this. And you need to admit that. And you need to go ask for help. So that's part of it too. Sometimes Spirit goes, you're banging your head against the wall. So we're going to have to take away this abundance or these clients for a small amount of time so that you can say, what I'm doing isn't working. And then you need to go ask for help. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up getting an email from somebody. I've been getting her emails for, I don't know, about a year or more. And it was a free Zoom. And it was about how to, work in Instagram, find, do your posts that will attract the client. And I'm like, yeah, what I'm doing ain't working. And so I did. I went to the Zoom and I purchased her course. Now, even though it's on a credit card, I don't have the money to pay the credit card. It's like, what I'm doing isn't working, so I need to reach out to my community. And in reaching out to that community, I met a whole new group of amazing women who are incredibly talented, who are all in this group, and we all have unique skills, and we get to talk and things like that. Mm-hmm. And Barbara, you also have this group that I'm a part of that you do as well.
Yes, that's true. I have started in the beginning of this year a group that I call Solutions of the Soul. And we have solutions of the soul for life and solutions for business. And in it, we are just a wonderful group of like-minded people. We've all discovered, for instance, that we're all black sheep. That was a great discovery I found, because I never really knew how to call us or what would be a good word that we would all recognize ourselves in. But black sheep turned out to be one of them. Rebel was another one that most of us, or all of us, I think, even recognized ourselves in to a certain degree. Somebody is more rebellious than somebody else, but to a certain degree all. And it's been such a wonderful group because we are really attracting like-minded people and learning and growing together. And it's one of the things that puts the biggest smile on my face every week.
And it's great because with each group we're a part of, there's something we learn from that group. So from your group, you help us figure out who we are on a spiritual level and an intellectual level. And you find these amazing TED Talks, and we watch these TED Talks and we discuss them, and the inspiration we get after we leave those rooms are amazing. And so you're not going to find everything you need in one group. We need to, I have a group once a month where we come together and we talk about what's going on in our lives and the emotional things that are going in our life. And then we do a healing for everybody. We do light language and we do Reiki, but it's just coming in and being able to say, this is my emotional state today, and I need help in this emotional state. And then, I go to the other group and it's about creativity, and I have real blocks. Let me tell you, when it comes to technology, I just want to take that computer and throw it out the window. I have blocks, but this woman has a way of making it fun and getting you past those blocks in a fun, enjoyable way. And then, your group is amazing because you have us using our intellectual mind and connecting to those parts of us that we don't get to think about when we're so busy during the day.
No.
Right.
And it's the part of us that we need to nourish in order to keep on growing and to not stand still, to further develop us, further learn about ourselves, and to prepare ourselves for the role that we are working towards or going towards, whether we like it or not, because it's just the new reality that we are going to. And you're right, I'm also a part of a group that barters with each other. I recently found this group and I love that as well, because I have these skills, you have these skills, let's just make a deal. Like, I am very technical, you are not very technical, but I need some theta healing and you are an expert, so I do your technical and you do my healing, something, forms like that. And I love being able, because that's co-creating, right, together. It's allowing each other to grow with the things that we can do, and then being mutually beneficial.
Yeah, and we're really going to need to get back to the barter system. We know what's going on in the world right now, and it really is it used to be that we would go to the farmer's market and we would trade goods and we would work together, and what one person didn't have, the other person did, and you did this beautiful trade. And that's the way our villages, our small towns used to run. And then, of course, we got really modernized and we had the superstores and the, ordering online. But it really is going to come back down to, I have a dozen eggs and I need some potatoes. You want to trade?
Yeah, because money is only money because somebody said it is money, and also somebody said it is value. Because if you look at it, most money is paper. And why does that paper have a higher value than the paper that's in your printer? It's both paper.
It's just
and most coins are made of metal, and you also, I have a metal edge here on my phone. Why isn't that worth $1 million? So it's money has only value because we all together agreed that it has value and what value it has. But it's the same with trading eggs for potatoes or knowledge for knowledge. It has the value that we give it, and it is something that's currency that can pay, because in the end, money is energy. Money is a form of love, and being able to do this for each other with my specialty, your specialty, and then combining that to something beautiful, that's also the energy of love.
Yeah, and it really is. It took me a while to wrap my head around that money really is just energy. And when we look at the reality of the world, on paper, there's way more money out there than actually is in the gold and the silver can't cover what the banks have given to people out there. So we know that there is, in the eyes of the world, it isn't just a paper exchange. There, you know, so that's energy. It's energy. Like, what is my value? How do I value what I do? How do I value the things that the knowledge and the wisdom I have? So when we are working with people, we want to say, well, this is how long it takes me to do this, and I'm going to value my time at this dollar amount. And even when we're doing a barter, we need to take that into consideration. Right?
Yes.
We need to take that into consideration. It takes me X amount of time to do this, and honoring ourselves and respecting ourselves, and really knowing that there's other people who can do Reiki, and there's other people who can do what Barbara does, and that, but we all have this unique, we have this uniqueness around us, and I'm going to attract the people who have a similar vibration to me. Like Barbara and I have a similar vibration. We're attracted to each other. We're kind of like on the same wavelength. I'm not going to attract the same person that somebody else does that has similar skills to me, right? Because we all have this, we are comfortable with certain people, and then there's other people that were like, yeah, I'm just not, vibrating with that person.
But that's exactly what it is, because everything is energy. So we are also consistent of energy, and our energy is influenced by how we feel, how well we slept, if we're happy, if we're sad, if we're angry, if we're annoyed. All these things influence the level at which we vibrate. And that's why I don't believe in competition, because even if you and I had studied the exact same things and we could do the exact same things, then you still have your experiences that make you unique, and I have my experiences which make me unique. And per definition, that means that we have a different makeup of our energetic pattern, and that probably means we vibrate on a different level. And even if we vibrate on the frequency of love, for instance, because we're both at that level that day and we slept really well and the sun is shining and we're feeling very loving and giving and happy and stuff, then still you have your past and the thing that makes you unique. And that's then your story, which also has a certain vibration, which can be different from each other. And then that combination is what attracts a certain person to you or to me.
Right, exactly. And we're comfortable with people who have a similar story to us, because then we feel they understand us. It may not be exactly the same, but then we know that they have this empathy for us, that we've been through something similar. And when we have an empathy for other people and we've been in something similar, there's no judgment. We're not judging them because we've been through something similar. And it's like, okay, this is what worked for me. So I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to help you with these ideas. And then you choose what resonates with you. You choose what you think is going to do the best thing for you.
Exactly. It's more the opposite. It's not that you want to tell somebody or make them feel sad, but it's more that you want to show them, I know exactly what that feels like because I've been there. So I'm going to do everything in my power to help you get to where I am now. Yeah. And I can only show you the way. I cannot tell you your answer. You have to find your answer yourself, but I can guide you, which is why I started calling myself transformation guide and soul igniter, because it's not about coaching. It's about, for me, and I think for you too, Robynn, it's about showing possibilities and having you explore possibilities and then finding the things that work for you. And they may be different than the things that work for me, but we've tried so many things in our lives that we know a little bit, or maybe sometimes a lot, about a lot of things, which helps us guide people. And based on your intuition and your empathy and the other natural skills that come naturally to us, being highly sensitive empaths with an intuitive sixth sense, that helps us guide people towards where we kind of suspect or feel on a certain level that the problem will probably be. And then you get to be the one to confirm if that's indeed the case, because you're discovering it by yourself with our guidance.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've been through, and when we create our courses, like I know you have course material, you have online, I have course material, and our course material is created based on our own emotional, physical, spiritual, intellectual growth. And it was how we walked our path and got to where we are now. And when we give these people these tools that worked for us, they can use those tools and then adjust that tool to what works best for them. There's no right and wrong. It's like, okay, I'm taking this course and I resonate with maybe 5 or 6 things in that course, but I don't resonate with 2 or 3. Well, that's okay. You don't resonate. It's not, you know, it's not going to work for you. All good. It's about taking what works for you, taking what makes you feel comfortable and you understand and you comprehend, and use that part of it.
Exactly, but also the 2 or 3 things that might not have resonated for you, they may resonate for the people that you help. Because I've learned techniques that really did not resonate with me at all. But if I do them with my clients, they resonate with that very well. And I've gotten tremendous deep results for other people. They don't work for me, but it doesn't mean that I cannot use them to do good for others. So it's learning about yourself, healing yourself, helping yourself, but also expanding your data bank, expanding your knowledge, expanding your toolkit, just collecting, or at least I am collecting as many tools as possible, because you never really know when it will be useful. I don't know if that was also in Canada, but when I was younger, I loved to watch a television show called MacGyver.
Yes. Yeah, bubble gum. Yeah, you know, he could turn it into a bomb.
Yes, or an escape device or whatever, you know, and just things that he found lying around, combined with his knowledge, and then creating things out of it which he needed at that moment. I thought, oh, how awesome is that, right?
Yeah, I love that show. And you're so right, because there's a lot of people that if they just tap into their intellectual part of who they are, and when they take that course and they stay in the intellectual mind and they don't go into their inner knowledge, their wisdom, into their heart energy, then they follow the script, and the script doesn't work for everybody. And if you can't learn the script, or the course is there for guidance, but it's not set in stone. You adjust it and change it. I do theta healing. I do personal mentoring. I do occasional soul readings. But you know, what works for one person in a theta healing session doesn't necessarily work for another person in that session. And I need to adjust that session based on their needs and how complicated, you know, the history is, or how much fear there is around a memory. And I love that you can clear, you know, that fear without making them go back into that. You know, you can protect them, you can still clear it without re-traumatizing them. And it's powerful to have those skills to be able to work with our clients and not re-traumatize them.
Definitely. My last teacher called what you just described dancing in the moment. And I love
dancing in the what?
Dancing in the moment.
Dancing in the moment. Oh, beautiful.
Right? Because it's anticipation. It's being in the moment, dancing in the moment, being flexible, being limber, being prepared, being able to turn direction in a moment's notice, because that's what you do when you dance. And so I love that one. And indeed, you know, it's having tools that help clear stagnant energy, guys. I think most of it is a form of stagnant energy or stored energy, which also is stagnant, but it can be on deeper layers, and we have multiple layers. I often compare us to an onion, and depending on the age you had when the traumatic thing happened and the people that were involved and the suddenness of it, that determines how deep it went into your core. So that determines how many layers it will affect. And when you grow as a person, you peel off these layers. You keep learning things about yourself. You keep discovering things about yourself. You keep healing things about yourself. And when you've done that, the discovering and healed, then you can peel off that layer and then you go a layer deeper. And that's the reason behind why you can often think, I thought I'd already taken care of that. I thought I already did healing around that. So why is it coming back? It's because it affected multiple layers, and because you're growing as a person, you've reached the next layer. So next time, instead of asking, why is this happening? Think, yay, I'm growing, because that's what it means.
Yeah, it's a celebration. So, you know, when I have a memory come up or an emotion come up and I look at it and I go, okay, what is this? And when I have no reaction to that memory, it's like, oh, I just need to let it go. There's still a little part that's just hanging on and I can just let it go because I'm having no reaction to this memory other than I'm like, why am I having it? And then we're like, okay, but if I'm having an emotional reaction to this memory, then that's telling me I'm ready to let this memory go. I'm ready to work through it. And if I can't do it on my own, then I call up my favorite healer and I say, okay, let's work through this. I'm not, it's like, it's there and it doesn't want to leave. So that's telling me that I need guidance to help me move through this memory. And then I can get the learning I need from it. And then we can let it go.
Exactly, because there's no shame in asking for help. I think it shows tremendous strength to recognize when you cannot do it by yourself and when you actually need help. And that's a broad area, because we often think we can do everything by ourselves, or we at least start trying to do everything by ourselves because we are then still convinced we can do this specific thing by ourselves. And then, you know, there comes a moment where you realize you cannot do it by yourself, and then you have a decision to make. Am I big enough, brave enough, bold enough to admit, okay, I thought I could do this by myself, but you know, no. I don't like to admit it, but I cannot do it by myself and I need help, and then asking for it? Or are you like that donkey that keeps hitting its head against the same stone and over and over and over again? Because Einstein said that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very important to be at least brutally honest with yourself. It's my policy to be honest with everybody, but I know I'm weird in that way. But at least be brutally honest with yourself. Be honest enough to know when it's not working or when you need help. And even if that is help that you cannot afford, because I've spoken to so many people lately that really need help and that have convinced themselves that they don't have the money to pay for the help. But like we already discussed today, there are many forms of payment that don't involve paper or metal. So nobody offers me something in return or even asks me to the possibility of that something, because if they are business owners, then they know most of the things going on in my business, and I'm pretty sure I can find something for you to do that you can do that will help me out a lot, and that may be your strength and that will pay for the help that you need.
Yeah, it is really about, like, there are times when, you know, we have bills to pay and we absolutely have to have the monetary, you know, the dollar and pennies in our bank account because we have things that have to be paid for. But we also have things that we can't do. So if you're open to, on this one occasion, you have a skill I really need. So I'm willing to barter, do an exchange with you. And there's this value in being authentic and being honest and really living up to your value of what it is. But there's also the part of you that you need to put a dollar amount on what you feel that that other person is doing for you as well. Because
Yes.
sometimes we have this, the other person doesn't see value in what we're doing, and but only sees value in what they do.
Well, how I enter into a border is with a contract. And why so formal? So formal because we agree to certain things when we are still very much liking each other. And that's the best time to note them down. So I've bartered with someone who did virtual assistant services for me, and she wanted my coaching package. So my coaching package is an X amount. It's the X amount for everybody. And then we decided, what is your hourly rate? Okay, that's this. So we divided my package amount by her hourly rate. And then that means I have an X amount of hours that I can use her time.
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
then we put that into a contract, which we both signed, because God forbid, I've had it happen to me. Sometimes you reach a point where you don't really like each other anymore. Because of what you were just saying, Robin, that you have a different view of something, or you find that you both have different value for a thing, and then you end up in a discussion about that the other things that you've not done enough, or that they are not seeing results enough, or something like that. And then you want to have something that you can both go back to and saying, you know, when we really liked each other, we both agreed to this.
Yeah, and that's really important, because, and there's also this part of making sure they stick, you stick to the agreement on both ends, because I have done a barter too before, and then the person did a whole bunch of other things and wanted that to be considered, and yet never actually did what I really wanted done. And so there's this authenticity, and making sure you have your boundaries set up, and making sure you both understand, this is what I want you to do. Don't go off and do other things. We need this open communication, and if you do things other than what's in our agreement, I'm going to take that as a freebie.
Yes, if you don't confer with me before you start doing then yes. If you see, I would encourage people, if they are doing something for me and they're encountering something that they think, oh, why the hell is this way, or it would be so much better if you did this and this, wonderful, please tell me. But then go and have a conversation with me around how we can fit that in as an addition to our agreement, and then make a new agreement about that part and add it to the things that we've already agreed upon. Just to avoid, we call it crooked faces. When you
you have to do that in any kind of relationship. Because when we're in a relationship with someone else, a friendship, there is this, let's talk, let's have open communication. Let's talk about what's going on in our life. Let's talk about what's wrong. Don't just come up to me and complain. Come up to me and say, hey, this and this and this is going on. This is creating this stress for me, or this is creating me to feel like this. What can we do to solve this? And it is about just having the courtesy of being in a relationship where we treat the other person exactly the way we'd want to be treated.
I was just going to say that my motto is treat everybody the way I want to be treated. And even if I'm having a bad day, and I do have bad days, and I am still guilty of sometimes forgetting this, I admit it. I am also human, but I try my best to think, how would I like to be treated in this situation? When something happens and somebody screws up and you're feeling angry, maybe is your first response, and you want to just tear them through the telephone to tell them their place or what you think about what they did. Usually when it costs a lot of money in your not favor, so to say. But then you imagine the other side. When would I be more likely to help you? When you're biting my head off, screaming in profanities and being, mean and a jerk? Or when you be firm and clear, but still kind?
Yeah. Kindness. Oh, yeah. Kindness is so important. And, being that we're empathetic, we feel very deeply. So because we feel very deeply and we know what it feels like to have somebody be mean or cruel or whatever, we really do go out of our way to think about how we're going to say something. We go out of our way to think about things. But we also have a tone of voice. We have the tone where, you know, what you've done isn't okay and you need to understand that, you know, and we all communicate differently. And it's interesting because people can react to your tone of voice because you've triggered something in them, and you don't know you've triggered something in them. This is just my tone.
We just learned this Wednesday in our solution meeting. Remember when we learned that 55% of your communication that people hear is the way you look.
Yeah.
38% was your tone of voice.
Yeah.
Only 5%.
7, I think it was.
Or 7, yeah, oh yeah, 7. I my math is horrible today. 7% is your actual words.
Yes.
So what you are actually saying has the least amount of impact from everything. And when they can only hear you, then it's mostly your tone of voice that has the impact, not what you're saying.
Yeah. No, and we thought that was, and the physical appearance, I had no idea it was that high. People automatically judge us based on our physical appearance, and that was so interesting. So we should get into that one in our next talk, because we're just like, we've given these guys so much information this morning. But again, when just know that the stuff that's coming up right now, we need to clear it. We need to look at it. And if it is something that just won't let go, it's like a dog with a bone and it just won't go anywhere, then hire that professional to help you through it. You know, and we all have, and I'll tell you something, hire the person in your income bracket. Please do that. I base my prices on what I would be willing to pay another person based on my income bracket. So don't go to that $500 an hour person because you think they're a miracle worker. You can pay $50 for the same thing and have the exact same results. So I think it's really important that you hire people within your income bracket, because we all start there. We all start in our own income bracket. And as we build our clientele and as we create the more money into our bank account, we slowly take our prices up, based on our income. But don't think that person that charges you $500 is better than the person who charges you $100.
Well, it will even work counter effectively, because you will have so much anxiety and stress and resistance around having to pay that amount of money, because then you will get to limiting beliefs and blocks and other things that are still causing that friction. The friction will be so high that it's actually counterproductive, because then you will attract more things to be anxious about, more things to feel bad about, more things to be afraid about, because that's your general state. And like energy attracts like energy. So it's okay to have what you're comfortable with, or maybe a little bit more, but still within the that's exciting but comfortable range. That's also fine. But stay there, because otherwise, if it feels like it's getting you by the throat and it's strangling you, then it won't do any good.
No, because if you go into debt to do something, and you're so stressed out about the fact you've gone into debt to do something, then it's counterproductive. Then you're always worried about the other stuff. So it is about really finding that person who vibrates with you, who you trust, who you feel comfortable with. You feel like, oh yeah, I could work with this person and I'm perfectly okay working with this person.
Exactly.
Okay. And do your homework. Do they have references? Can you ask for references? Did somebody recommend the person to you? And I've been to people that people have recommended, and it's like, I don't vibe with them.
Mm-hmm. That's also
which is perfectly okay. I don't vibe with everybody. So
No, but that's when it becomes important that you check somebody's podcast out or somebody's
Yeah,
YouTube channel, because
yeah,
they will either talk or create videos, and you can see the energy of the person, and you can see how they are, how they talk, what they talk about, and
yeah.
see I've had people that I thought were amazing when I read them on paper, and then I hear their voice and I think, oh my God, no, I cannot listen to this for
See,
longer than.
there it is, right? We can, and that's exactly what we were saying about this, and we'll talk about it in the next one. But you know, we read the person's book, and there may be something really wonderful in the book, but we would never go to them as a client because they just don't resonate with us on a vibrational level.
Exactly. So
Right.
you do your homework, not only
Yeah.
read, but also make sure that you at least hear them,
Yeah.
preferably also see them at a seminar or a workshop or a webinar. Most people offer free stuff that you can at least piggyback to see their energy, because honestly, but that's also a topic for another day. Most
Yeah.
webinars don't inspire me anymore, but that will
Yeah.
be a different episode. But for today, indeed, I think the most important message is that you know that you're not alone,
Mhm.
that there are people you can reach out to. There are groups where you can become a member of. Our group that we run together, or find us as a coach separately. We'll make sure that all the links are below in the show notes so that you can find us easily. Or put your feelers out and send out into the world that you'd like to attract the person that you resonate with, that you can that can help you raise your vibration or make the next step, whatever your next step is going to be. And that was our purpose for today's episode, right? Letting people know they're not alone. There are a lot of things going on. It might feel like you're going crazy. It might feel like you're overwhelmed, or maybe even on the verge of a burnout again, exhausted, not sleeping really well, physical complaints. We've all seen them. We've all heard them. It's part of growing pains, manifestation pains, whatever you want to call it. And find us if you don't want to go through them alone.
Yeah, we're here for you. We both offer free coffee chats. And I think that is the one that's most beneficial, is that we have this 30-minute free coffee chat. We get on a Zoom with you. You get to see us, you get to hear us, you get to communicate with us, and you get to decide, yeah, I'm comfortable. Let's move on to the next stage. So thank you so much, Barbara. This was amazing. And I hope you guys join us for our second session.
Yes, I hope so too. This has really been amazing. We had no clue where it would lead to, but I think we were inspirational. I know I inspired myself. You inspired me. So that's already very good. And we are openly inviting you to join us for our next episode. And for today, it's Barbara and Robynn signing off, wishing you a wonderful and amazing rest of your day, wherever you are and whenever you're listening to this. Bye for now.
Bye.